Welcome back to the Sunday Ticket on Fox Footy. First bounce not too far away here at Marvel Stadium. Can North Melbourne win their first game since March and give Brett Ratten a reason to smile against the St.Kilda Football Club, the club that sacked him in October last year? This is personal, as I throw things up to our commentator today, Dwayne Russell.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, there's a bit on this, not just with the coaches. Last time these two teams met, it was round 8 here at Marvel. North Melbourne were held goalless for the first time in 44 years in the first half of that contest. They were blown out of the water. Jai Simpkin was fined for throwing away Mateus Filippo's GPS. Mateus Filippo got the Rising Star nom and took a Mark of the Year contender. There was a bit in that game as well, and obviously there's a bit in this game for both. More so probably for St Kilda. They began the round inside the 8. They're currently now outside the 8 because of other results so far this round. But win, and they're back in, and win by enough, and they'll be all the way up to 5th.
And it's going to be a real challenge for the Kangaroos, missing a couple of stars through the middle of the ground. A lot of responsibility goes to LDU. Sheasel in his first year. It's unfair and unkind that he's put under that responsibility, but he has stood up and had a fantastic year, and that's his lot. Maybe we'll see a bit more of Taron Thomas through the middle, and another bloke at the other end of the career in Liam Shields going into the middle, because Ross put the heat, Dwayne, purely and simply, squarely on the shoulders of their midfield during the week.
Jack Steele and the side Wanganeen-Milera win the toss. It's a Saints home game. Luke McDonald captaining North Melbourne solo today, as Jared mentioned. No Jai Simpkin. Well, the Saints with a couple of players out as well. And North Melbourne, they've held on to Jack Ziebell. He'll be the sub again today. He's been subbed the last few games, so he passes David Dench and Michael Ferrito today, now top 10 all-time games played for North. This is 276 for him. And they've brought back in another experienced campaigner, Todd Goldstein. 17th season for Goldie in this game. 310, so one behind Glenn Archer, who's on 311, only Drew Petrie with 316, and Boomer Harvey 432 ahead of Todd Goldstein on that games list. So good to see Goldie back. They haven't been getting enough clearances, as we heard from Brett Ratten. And this is Brett Ratten's 9th game as caretaker coach, believe it or not. He's now coached as many North games as Alistair Clarkson has.
I think Clarko may cover him in the finish.
Hopefully, yes.
Looking forward to seeing young Will Phillips play as well. He should get some time through the middle of the ground as well. A high draft pick a couple of years ago. Angela Fever, there he is. He's had some pretty impressive games this year. He's been in and out of the side. He want to finish strongly.
So Goldstein straight into the middle against Marshall. Great to have your company wherever you're watching around the planet on Fox Footy. We're underway at Marvel. The two rucks got a little piece of it. Davies-Uniacke got the handball out. Phillips couldn't get on the end of it. The Hill toe poke. Owens crunched immediately with Davies-Uniacke. Shearsel gets his first touch and been getting 30 quite often. Turnover though, straight into the waiting arms of Jones. Webster, a little bit of precision ball use. Caminiti will be happy to have the ball in his hands. He was a little light on last week and almost dropped.
And a good start by the Saints. They've lost their turnover game in the last 6 or 7 weeks.
Taylor got a hand on it. Ford didn't get a fist on it.
So you can see they're pretty keen to get it going and take the corridor, as Ross promised at the before the game started.
Sinclair just the required to Hill. And he pokes it in. Top of the square, essentially. Owens got hands on it. Phillips another touch. Ford quick fire. Sheasel just as quick, and they should be out of trouble here with Larkey coming up to the wing.
They're the sort of darts you need coming off that half-back line. It's a good start.
Thomas has got an option over the top. Hasn't seen Curtis just yet. He now does see him, but he has two Saints converging. Wilkie, Hill, Battle. And they win that battle with ease all the way wide. Taken on the wing by Bytel, back into the lineup this week. For the record, Billings is the sub for the Saints, and Ziebell the sub for North. A little too low for Crouch, but he was good enough to get a possession away. Phillips cut it off. Luke Davies-Uniacke the fake, and he sold Taron Thomas into a car crash.
Well, really good decisions defensively, Jarrett. Battle before coming forward, leaving his man over the top to impact. And then on that occasion, just really squeezing up. Stopping North Melbourne in their tracks, not trying to transition the ball.
The Kangaroos have dropped a spare back, sitting 30 metres out from goal.
The Saints have only got 4 forwards, 3 forwards.
Steele read that nicely, gave it to Crouch, scoots through legs. Caminiti tried to back out of a hole that wasn't there. It closed on him quickly. McDonald, they close on him.
That is the thing. They're trying to get their forwards really high up the ground and try and help with that contest and clearance work. Sometimes you can take too many up.
Well, Aidan Corr was sitting there. Should have gobbled that up and had the intercept mark.
Golston to Mackay. Just wobbles it out of there. Marshall's in a good spot to mark it. It's been happening quite a bit. The turnover from the kick out of defence. Wood. Battle. Nicely delivered to Steele.
Yeah, I like that, though. I like the transition of space. The transition of the ball across the other side of the ground, taking out that spare that's sitting behind the ball. Doesn't look too confident, Dwayne.
No, but...
Jack.
See if he pulls this and there. That's the confident move. Okay, mouth guard into the top of the shorts, we should say. And he'll line up from just beyond the arc. See if he pulls this kick late, though. North have got plenty of players back. He does pull it late. Top of the square. Goldstein stalking it. Hands on it. Mackay almost marked it. Fed it back. Corr was fantastic last week. Scott, who's been fantastic all year, but turns it over to Sinclair.
You can't trust Jack Steele. It's a double fake. Putting the mouth guard in there, going to the top of the square, but turnover kicks cost you big time. And this is an area of the game that St Kilda are so strong in the first 6 or 8 weeks of the season, the turnover game. And they're now down with the cellar dwellers in that element of the game. So they would be pleased with the start so far tonight.
Jack Sinclair, top 10 in the AFL this year for possessions per game, and he's number 2 on the kick efficiency list behind Nick Dacos, and he spears it home.
He was a good strike of the ball, wasn't it, Jared? Just loved their turnover game. So North Melbourne under pressure had to dump kick it out. This was the second time they had to dump kick it, but the first time it came out to Howard. Then he switched the ball to the open side of the ground to try and take out those spares of North Melbourne, just building pressure. That forward half pressure, North Melbourne just didn't have the time and patience and the skill to come out of their back half.
Yeah, of the top 2, in terms of efficiency out of that top 10, it is Dacos and Sinclair out of that top 10 possession winners this year, so he's been using it well.
But getting back to the Scott kick, as you said, he's had a fantastic year, Dwayne, but they're just skill errors that you've just got to get out of the game.
34 possessions, the most for North, and career best last week for Bailey Scott. Goldstein looked Davies-Uniacke out the front. Tough one for Larkey, but he read it well, couldn't gather it cleanly. Sinclair another possession. Coming hard against the grain was Filippo, who's been spectacular all season as well. Hill knocks it on. Corr put him on his backside, and he's slow getting up. Straight through the core was Aidan Corr, coming off his best game for North just about last week.
Hill was as open as you can possibly be.
Still on hands and knees at the moment, as you can see. Steele.
Of course, North Melbourne just have to be a little bit careful. They don't want to stop the transition from St Kilda, but they don't want to flood back too deep and allow St Kilda to pick their way through skills.
Hill's up. Jones found him. He pokes it. Well, Marshall and Wood were both there. Wood takes the mark, and he enjoys playing well against North every time he plays against them, given they delisted him, dumped him. Spears that pass, and Owens, speaking of spectacular seasons, still a chance to win the Rising Star, Mitch Owens.
Yeah, I know he's not his direct responsibility, Todd Goldstein. I'd like to get another look at this. I just don't think he went with him. Owens cut across, realising the drop of the ball, the trajectory was going to drop in. He was able to free run.
And it's a great decision by Wood. Take the opportunity to exploit the man on the mark. He can't move. And it's a good dart.
It looks like being a bargain at pick 33. Spears it home. Their next-gen academy gun.
That is the issue, isn't it, Jared? If you want to flood numbers back, as we see Bradley Hill there just going off, and we'll see this nice little kick inside forward 50. But this is where they need to change lanes. Understanding North, they want to flood back, they want to close up those really dangerous positions. So these types of kicks are on. And as you said, you can't move on the mark. You just see there. Lovely little lead, just reads the plate.
Well, outside of the centre clearances, they've got the first two, North Melbourne. Not too much else working for them. And here's Bradley Hill copping one.
Yeah, that is in a vulnerable position when you're like that. Yep. You tap the ball, you are just open.
And the restart. North have seen this movie before. Outplayed in opening quarters. Marshall slams it long. Owens, Goda, Owens. Goda had a good game last week as well. One of the young North guns. They picked 22 from 2021.
Bradley Hill's gone down into the rooms.
Yeah, Will Ashcroft injured for the rest of the season. It's an open rising star race at the moment. Mitch Owens as good a chance as anybody to overrun him. Goda, the man we're speaking of, takes the mark in defence. Comes from good footy stock. His father played some good waffle footy at East Perth. Hands it off to Core. Short pass past Scott, who couldn't pounce on it. Butler's got it. Little nudge to the back. Sharman, clean picker. Higgins back into the lineup this week. Floats it a little. Owen stands under it. Crushed away from him. Sharman, big ball to win. Mackay, Archer.
It's good pressure.
Caught with a 360 spin.
They look on St Kilda. They look on from centre bounce. They look active. They look on defensively. You can see players pointing, really demanding a lot of each other. You see there that tackle from Jack Higgins. That's what you love to see from your small forwards.
Cherry in the ruck now against Caminiti, so the two second rucks go at it. Butler caught, sweeps a handball further on to Crouch. He almost threw that away. Davies-Uniacke wanted to keep it alive, and I think he was blindsided, but
it's unfortunate for LDU. It was a great ground ball one. Another clearance. It's one area they're hanging in on at the moment, the Kangaroos, but the game is being played in their defensive 50. Need some territory respite.
Marshall almost throws that down. He held it in his palm for half a second. Close to the boundary. Shields content to take it out. And you saw the two coaches. There's a bit of spice in this. After 18 games last season, under Brett Ratten, the Saints were 10 wins, 8 losses. That was July, and Ratten had just been re-signed by the Saints. Win this, and the Saints will be 10 wins, 8 losses. But they've got to win this first to be in the same spot as they were last year. Bytel to the top of the square. Big fist of Core kills it to the boundary.
Well, it's good clearance there from Crouch. Outstanding use of the hands to release the kick. But it is just pure density down there at the moment.
Archer with the big job on Higgins here. Off the ball in. Higgins roaming, taken out of the air by Cherry. Then he's caught and he dropped it. And it's holding the ball. So you do get an opportunity to dispose of it. And maybe he waited a little too long and was caught. Changed that ruck rule a few years ago where you once upon a time didn't have a prior.
As soon as you fend off, Dwayne.
Yeah.
But it's just, once again, good pressure, good forward pressure. Caminiti on that instance was the recipient of the free kick. I think Ross would like what he's seen so far.
Yeah, just a 4-kick, 8-possession, 1-goal game last week for Caminiti.
Oh.
And he was lucky to actually hit that ball with his boot.
He wasn't one of those players that were practicing pre-game, Jared.
He wasn't, indeed. Ross said he was out of the side until there was an injury. But he's close. He's just a young bloke, an exciting talent. And the Kangaroos, they are just struggling big time to get this ball clear.
Well, they're going to 36% by foot.
Skills are letting them down badly.
St Kilda 70%. So they just can't hit a target. They get a composed possession in their back 50, yet it's a skill error that brings them undone.
Still one of the fairy tale stories of the year, Caminiti.
Definitely.
Late pre-season pickup. Gee, Hunter Clark hunted quickly.
Even right now, if North Melbourne were able to clear the ball, Marshall's forward of the ball and St Kilda have got good defensive stability.
Good attack, LDU again, but he couldn't break away with it. Likewise, Sheasel. Archer in the middle of all that as well.
Well, the Saints should be going to town on Tristan Cherry's hit-outs. He hits it to the defensive here, but almost religiously. He hit it straight down the throat of the Saints then and again. But that's a trick. I like it.
That's a kick without taking possession, sort of. And Filippo wasn't paid the mark. Didn't go the required distance. Bounced back to some form last week with Mateus Filippo, doing an outstanding first year from the scramble. It's almost hard to believe he's a young first-year player as well, Mateus Filippo, a December born. So he's almost a year behind quite a few against him. With Davies-Uniacke gets it out of the area, and Howard puts it to grass, and a throw.
Well, very stiff not to get the one-hander, but it did look like a throw from here, and the umpire was on the spot.
Just look how quick St Kilda have got back to defend.
Stevenson heads long, Larkey's in the hole, big fists come and thump to the boundary well by Wood.
Really good work rate, Wood coming over from the wing, but you could just see the urgent and intensity that St Kilda really flooded back inside the defensive 50.
Chant of "Let's go Kangas, let's go" with this Kangas cheer squad end. Marshall takes it out of the air, lucky to hit his boot, but umpire cuts him some slack. Steele with a torp towards the wing. It's a 2-on-2. Higgins caught a little high, you'd think. Owens plays onto advantage. Caminiti over the top.
No one to kick to.
Hemmed in. Wise move.
Good decision.
Jones, Higgins, ran through the jam. Handball behind Filippo, who didn't know it was coming. Luke Davies-Uniacke to McDonald. Quick enough to mop up his own mess. Goda made it Howe's problem. He didn't know when or where. Had three coming at him. Caminiti flicks it over his head. Crouch, bounce pass. Webster to 2-on-2 inside 50. Little nudge out from... big nudge out from Buck.
He's trying to argue the point as well. Yeah. There's clearly a push in the back. This is where they need to be careful, North Melbourne, just controlling the ball inside their own defensive 50. They want to give St Kilda an opportunity.
Sheasel coming off another 30-possession game last week, as I mentioned, having a year to behold. His first season player, not 19 till October, another young first-yearer. Shields.
This is the thing, North Melbourne spares are on the open side. But they're not going to switch the ball, they just go long down the line.
Goldstein and Marshall both there. Good contest between the two, and they'll have another one for the ball in.
It's getting beaten on the outside at the moment, North Melbourne. You're right, Jared. The clearance work and contested stuff is really good. So there's Billings on the phone.
So Hill may be out of the game early, Brad Hill.
It's a big loss.
Keep an eye on that. Wanganeen-Milera outside of the boot. McDonald read it nicely through the air. So Billings, chance to be on early. There's the sub. Two Jacks in the box, if you like, as the subs today. Jack Billings and Jack Zeeble. Good mark taken by Taylor. Shields.
Well, just settled here a little bit, North Melbourne. Still got to hit a target inside 50.
Larkey got up there, ball to the back. Tarrant Thomas gets his moment. He gave it to Big Goldie, who loops it over the top to Ford, who drives it home.
We could feel that one coming, Jordan. They just settled a little bit, started to control the ball. Got it inside the forward 50 where they had support at ground level. And you can't build your game around contested marks. They just do not happen often enough. Don't matter whether you're in the top side or the bottom side. So you need that extra ground level support. They had the outnumber. Ross would be a bit disappointed at just how many guys got at the back there without any true defence covering that. That was just too easy.
I think when Liam Shields, the ball left his boot, it was equal numbers inside the forward 50. Then it was just a couple of decisions from the St Kilda defence. Because it was a really dangerous kick and there was equal numbers, they felt like they had to come over and impact in the air. The right players competed, Larkey competed, and the right players stayed on the ground.
Game 17 for Eddie Ford. He's yet to play in a win. 16 losses from 16 games so far. Good bounce to restart it. Caminiti doing the ruck work, so Owens not the second ruck being used by the Saints at the moment, which will be good news to Owens, you'd think, against Goldstein. Little push, got some momentum now, the Roos.
I think they just need to build the ball up.
Howe, so some experienced campaigners, two of those they brought in over the summer. Shields to Mackay, and he sits that on the head of Taylor. Horrible kick. Gresham, Jones, hands it off inside, back outside, and they converge quickly. Battle couldn't get into some free space, but a ball is probably a win.
Well, on a positive, they were 0-10 for centre-bound experiences down at Geelong a few weeks ago, the Kangaroos, and blew the game. Started really well in that area, and you can see the both clubs have got elite pressure going.
Battle squeezed a kick off the deck. Higgins playing in front, position A, but couldn't take it. It's almost in the back by Filippo. Umpire says no. Howe gets up slowly and doesn't argue the point.
But on a negative, you cannot keep turning the ball over from your defenders. They've had one from Scott. They had one just then from Mackay, just gifting the Saints easy intercepts.
Stevenson to Sheasel. Plants his foot into it, down the spine and dropping into the hole. Here's Nick Larkey, and here's a sharpshooter.
Yeah, Howard slipped over at the critical point and just couldn't recover. Really good separation for the ball by the North Melbourne forwards. So Howard slips over. There's not another defender that can come over and help.
Just one goal last week, but didn't come down that often. One goal and 5 kicks and 2 marks. Never kicked 50 in a season. This is for number 46, and he drills it. 69% sharpshooter this year. He's been superb.
Well, good fight back by the Kangaroos. They looked horrible in the first 5 or 6 minutes, just the ball living at the other end of the ground. But they've gone inside forward 50 on 5 occasions, and a couple of them they've looked dangerous, in particular that one where there was a bit of space, and the kick to Larkey gave him every chance.
It was off the back of some forward pressure too that St.Kilda looked like they were out from a transition point of view than the North Melbourne pressure. There we see Bradley Hill. He's, I would imagine, going to probably hospital get a scan or to see what's up.
Rib, maybe. So, or lung, I'll check that, obviously. But, yeah, he's getting some sustenance, and off he goes. Sorry, Gerard, I danced into your territory there, physio.
Well, I think the vision said it all, Dwayne.
Bytel, Jones out wide, the run, Windhager. Wood. Pushed the clutch in for a second, delayed it. Billings, who's on now.
It's a good grab.
Coming off a broken thumb as well with that glove on his hand. Heads inside 50, Core. A little overzealous with a spoil attempt, and Owens will have a shot. And that's not dissent. That's just a little surprise.
Well, the umpire signalling that he saw a jumper being held. Good kick. Nice. The kick was nice and direct.
And he's become a really good wingman, hasn't he, Wood? He's had some moments for the Kangaroos, just couldn't put seasons together.
Maybe a hand over the shoulder, but no.
So stationed forward. Could kick a big number. If he has a good day at the office, he's got some star quality. He's got 2 already, and they're back in front.
So it was a really dangerous kick inside forward 50 to a one-on-one, and it got there quick. So once again, Daniel Howe was trying to slide down from the wing position, but the penetration was really good. I'm not sure if you can see a jumper hold there, Jared, but maybe a hand over the shoulder. But the kick getting there quickly allowed that contest to be a one-on-one, a genuine one-on-one.
Sarah Jones is downstairs. Welcome back to you, Sarah.
An update from the Saints on Bradley Hill is en route to hospital for precautionary chest scans following that heavy collision with Aidan Core in the first quarter. The good news is he's feeling okay, but going to get the chest scanned. Thanks,
Sarah. So not good news for the Saints or Brad Hill. Good news for Jack Billings, who gets a chance to get out there early and become part of the action. Phillips, part of the C's, got it to Cherry, got it to LDU, who blasts it long in the Larkey direction. He's got 3 to beat. He nearly beat them all. Windhager, Crouch, Jones, Sinclair, and again he uses it well to Bytel.
Well, Phillips just executed a great release handball, but he's Sarah just run straight off the ground. He get one in the eye.
Has a blood nose by the looks of things, just on the bench now.
Howard. Wood. Takes off. So Gresham was over the top, but he pulled the kick short to Steele. And he loops it over the top to Owens, who waited for an eternity. He landed like a cat, bounced off like a rubber ball, and he might get it back. Will he kick the goal? He's never kicked more than 4. He's got 2, and he looks like he's enjoying his afternoon at the office.
He looks dangerous.
It's really poor defence, though. You come out, you can't go past the player. You come out to spoil, that's fair enough. You've leave your man, but you just can't leave him open to waltz into a goal or to distribute it to someone else.
And a manhandle free to Wood.
Yeah, I thought Core made a really good decision. I thought the decision by Mackay was a little bit too late.
Bullet pass over the head by Tell. Now free kick. Higgins plays on. Is that to advantage? Umpire's not going to allow it, even though it's a St Kilda ball.
Well, he's had a start since he's come on the ground. Made an impact.
So Billings, just the second game of the season. You see the glove on that thumb that I think did have some surgery. It's not a fashion statement. And the roof closed here, so the weather not an issue. It's his goal-kicking history. This spot all grounds, which is pretty good. And he proves that graphic correct. Pulls it to the near side.
I didn't wear a glove too much in my career. I don't know about you, Jared, but I always used to cut the fingers out, so you still had that touch and feel on the ball. Quite an unusual feeling.
So they can exit this time, North Melbourne. Cherry and Goldstein are there, and Goldie takes a good grab.
It's such an important mark. If you can mark it there or compete, but the best result is to mark it, and you get really good ground position.
One of their all-time greats back into the lineup. And here's Cherry at the other end. Sinclair quickly caught.
A goal either way here makes a big difference. Brett Ratten would be pretty pleased with the start, but another goal would make it really competitive, and vice versa for the Saints.
Marshall blasts it back towards the wing through the hands though of Young, and he's slow to get up as well.
It's a good tackle. That ball, if it was released, had 2 Saints players running onto it, so really important tackle there. I think it was by McDonald.
Goldstein got there. Marshall caught behind him. Slick hands from Shields. Ricochet to Sinclair. Spear pass and Mackay read it to perfection. But this is the issue. Needs to hit a target with the kick. Does. Tucker. Shields, so they're experienced campaigners. Tucker with 108 for Freo, and Shields with 255 games and 3 flags for Hawthorn, being added to by Alistair Clarkson, who will be back into control of this group in a couple of weeks. Taron Thomas can't mark it, lays the tackle, knocked it free. Big ball to win. Sinclair was about to win it, but left it behind. Tucker, who kicked it to that spot, followed it up and got it to half forward through hands. Ford, Windhager, Ford, he's got him, he wraps him, almost won himself a free, and they do get the free. And Ford quick to scramble and get it. Nick Larkey's ball, so it'll be in pretty good hands. As mentioned, 69%. That goal this season, Nick Larkey, 46 for the year now. It's his best ever season, 42-15 was the best for this year. And short passes, and guess who? The man who thought he was going to take it anyway, Eddie Ford.
Yeah, just too many St Kilda players guarding grass, mainly at the top of the goal square, probably referencing Todd Goldstein. A lot of the time those little ones are open, so really smart kick there by Larkey.
Doesn't mind letting his opponent know when he gets a few touches either. Eddie Ford, he talked the talk to James Sicily last week. So for a big start for him, for 2 goals for the opening quarter. Got under that, sprays it, and it's on the foot. Wilkie's ball. Phillips preparing to come back on. Steele.
I imagine there would have been a little bit of lip coming the other way.
Bytel.
It was James Sicily.
That's true. It was. It's quite funny to watch, to be honest. Bytel inside kick is dangerous. With Davies-Uniacke. Picked Philippo's pocket. Went to Goldstein. To Shields. Faked. Paul Curtis caught. Wasn't part of the plan.
It's a late call from the umpire. Maybe somebody upstairs gave him some help.
Does that happen, does it, Jerry?
Oh, I'm not sure.
So Wanganeen-Milera, I love the speculation though, heads toward half forward. Caminiti got up and landed back on it. Heads goal square, brilliant move, and Butler couldn't make something of that. It stays in play for a split second. And North dodge a bullet.
They're a small forward line at the moment. Mackay on Higgins and Butler, so sort of interchanging between the two.
She's along. Howe had to fly, and he does take it on the second grab.
Milera's just got to be a little bit careful. He goes for the fly, and his man slips out the back. That ball had have gone where it could have. He would have been badly exposed.
So Mackay, Archer, Tucker, back to Archer, who runs the wing, pulls the kick late, looking for Paul Curtis, takes the mark.
Yeah, good body work there.
He pokes it in the Scott direction, worked into the hole. Has he got this kick in him? If he winds up, he probably has. He winds up and smothered. He delayed it too long. Sinclair read his mind. Kept it alive. Wood inside, past Windhager. Couldn't pick it up and go. Gresham gives it to him. Back inside to Jones. Handballed it behind. Hunter Clark. He has to go fetch. Hunter Clark, who did consider joining North in the off-season, decided not to in the end.
Just a couple of midfield players there, not on the same wavelength. Ball going to the deck. Robs the Saints of what should have been a pretty quick ball inside forward 50.
Finishing this quarter strong, just can't capitalise on the scoreboard, North. Luke Davies-Uniacke blasted. Goldstein's forward. Larkey's forward. Ball through a couple of sets of hands. No free is a free. He was dragged off at battle.
Yeah, silly free kick. They're just building pressure.
And since about the 8-minute mark where St Kilda totally dominated territory, they've done pretty well, this Kangaroos.
In trouble again here, holding the ball. Free kick Saints, but they might not have enough time to transition it. Windhager, inside kick. Could have been a little dangerous with 10 seconds left on the clock, but Hunter Clark made sure of it. Spears it, he turns it over. So Scott gets it in quick. They can take a mark. Hands it off to Sheasel. They do get it to Goldie on the siren, and it'll count. Surely. No.
That's a big call.
Yes.
They've paid it.
Well, Goldie argued the point. I'm not sure both umpires were on the same page there. Of course, it's when the umpires hear the siren as to when quarter time is.
Stay out.
This will feel nice if he slots it. Because he got this kick and those 310 game legs. In he struts, plants his foot into it. No score. So the split decision doesn't amount to anything anyway, to a few boos from the crowd. Good contest. 9-point margin at quarter time. 3-3 plays 2 straight. And don't forget, all the big shows on Fox Footy tomorrow night. Gary Lyon and the team on the couch. Ross Lyon, Chris Scott, joining Jared and Robbo as well. A little bit of Bucks, a little bit of Jono, and a little bit of footy talk to take you through your Monday night, to give you the full taste of a massive round of footy coming your way, finishing with this one here at Marvel.
Welcome back to Marvel Stadium, where Ross Lyon Saints lead it by 9 points at quarter time. 3-3-21 plays 2 straight 12. The pressure has been on early in this game. St Kilda dominating territory early before North Melbourne clawed their way back into the contest. A big blow for the Saints, with running machine Bradley Hill subbed out of the game quite early on after a heavy collision with Aidan Corr. He has been taken to hospital for precautionary chest scans, so a really nasty bump. The club says he is doing okay, and we certainly wish Bradley the best of luck for a nice and quick recovery. As I throw things up to Jordan Lewis. Jordan, you want to have a look at North Melbourne and the turnovers out of defence.
Yeah, I mean, the first 10 to 15 minutes, the pressure was through the roof from both sides, but North Melbourne just couldn't deal with the pressure from the St Kilda forward. So on countless times in that first 10 minutes, they just kept turning the ball over, and St Kilda were able to build that pressure coming out of their back half. We just see there Gresham, the chase and the setup from Sinclair further in the field. That one ends up in a goal. But I think after the first 10 to 15 minutes, Jared, North Melbourne were able to build the ball up, find a little bit more of a kick mark game, and get inside their own forward 50. Yeah,
and they're taking plenty of contested marks also in that forward line. So they've got a lot they're doing a lot right, the Kangaroos. Just got to get on the scoreboard a bit more.
Goldstein and Marshall go at it to start the second. Goldie, a secondary handoff. Taron Thomas caught by the side. No in the back. Crowd getting their money's worth so far. The final game of the round. Great to have your company on Fox Footy. And it's, at the moment, a tight one. Phillips floats one. Taylor down there, almost bounced on the back of Wanganeen-Milera. Taylor's got it. Found some space where there wasn't a lot. Central kick. Larkey. Wood with the big fist. They've got the numbers. Wilkie, Sinclair, Wood, Sinclair, danger. Forward. Spins around, danced one way, went the other. Will he go for home? He centres it. Doesn't quite work, or does it? Taylor, Taron Thomas. Brilliant from North. That'll inspire them big time.
Yeah, it's a great start by North Melbourne. Their forward half pressure has been really good all game. They just haven't had it down there enough. But this time, really excellent pressure. And it draws a mistake.
Yeah, Larkey looks sore coming off as well. But you're right, just inside your own forward 50. And what I loved about North Melbourne is they cut off the exit. So St Kilda really tried to make it up in their back 50, eventually causing the turnover. And a couple of really good kicks. Didn't blaze away a goal, brought the ball back into the middle of the ground, hoping that there was a contest. And that's what happens when you're able to execute your skill.
Getting his boots changed. Also lucky enough to be joined in the Fox Footy commentary booth by Seb Ross, two-time BNF for the Saints. Welcome to you, Seb.
Thanks for having me here, Dwayne.
Get you to give us an assessment as to what's been happening so far shortly, but from the ball up, Phillips caught, trapped, and it's an even contest.
Yeah, it certainly is. It seems whatever team seems to be getting it most deepest in their forward 50 is making the most out of those situations. We just saw that last goal that North kicked. Got it in nice and deep, able to put pressure on and keep it in there and then get a shot.
Stevenson kicks, smothered. Wood feeds it out. Long handball to Wood, half forward. Goda against the grain. Phillips with a 1-2. Goda down the spine again. Stevenson looping handball was nice, as was the spin by LDU. Hands it off to Stevenson. They are inspired here at North. Forward in the hole, can't take the mark. Taylor pokes it to the pocket. Wilkie down there. Paul Curtis, half held, not fully held. Now he is held, but he's over it. And he's still working hard to get it out. Ball up.
Handball game of the Kangaroos is just slicing and dicing the Saints at the present time. And Will Phillips has had a couple of really good release handballs from stoppages.
Squeeze kick in the Howe direction, though. Is about to corral it. Takes it to the line. So it's intense at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. We knew North were going to come and try and bounce back from last week, and something we've tried to get back into our game that was really there in the start of the year was our transition run, but to get numbers around the footy and be able to either win the ball and put pressure on, and I think we're seeing that from both sides right now.
Back into play. Haven't been able to kick big numbers for a while either.
No, we haven't. I think that's been a big part of our sort of transition. We've been a good side all year at moving the ball from defensive 50 all the way up the ground, but something we've been struggling with is that last entry kick. And but I suppose the good thing is that we're able to move the ball for one end or the other, but we can keep working away on that one.
Archer trying to go through the traffic, didn't quite work for him, but it was nice to see him try and take him on.
Yeah, I think North Melbourne right now, North Melbourne are playing a spare behind the ball, so they're rolling up a lot better than what they did in the first quarter. St Kilda trying to come out with their handball game, but North Melbourne at the moment making really good decisions.
Howe, the chaos ball rolls in the Cherry direction. Couldn't get it and go. Sinclair likewise. Stevenson over it, but did he jump on it? Yeah. I think he did. And he knows he did. Sinclair.
So said with Bradley Hill out of the game, does Billings come in and just play the exact same role as what Hilly would have?
I think he tries to, Jordan. I think Hilly's really important cog in our side, playing that high half forward role and really getting up and down for us, being an outlet kick for defence and also being able to get back in and not just allowing his men to drop off. So JB has certainly got those capabilities, but we'll certainly miss Hilly's run.
Phillippo to Owens. Good transition this from the Saints. Floats a little on Caminiti. He looked over his shoulder and he read it to perfection and can line up and settle this down a little. It's been a great story, hasn't he?
He has an unbelievable story, really, to see where he come from early in pre-season, to sort of train for 2 weeks and out on the training track, be able to hold on to basically everything, whether it be one-on-one or taking big pack marks, and then to have the season that he's been having, it's been a real credit to him. It's certainly, you don't see too many young key forwards come in and be able to play every game.
Has he got this kick in him?
Yes. did against West Coast a couple of weeks ago.
He did. He hasn't struck them well today so far. Goldstein with the fist.
I was going to say, he might not have seen his first kick at goal.
Got out of jail there, the Kangaroos. Another bad turnover kick. That's 3 or 4 kicks can really kill you either way. And the Kangaroos, well, they've struck back really well, but they've been their own worst enemies today with this short kick.
Poor to Sheasel. Who they like to play in defence because he uses it so well, but they love to get him in the midfield too. Great mark by Harvey, who started his career pretty well as well.
He's a terrific contested mark, is Harvey.
It's game 3 for the son of the all-time AFL, VFL games record holder Boomer, to another father-son, Bailey Scott, and they've got 4 of them. Luke McDonald, the other one, apart from Archer. Wilkie, good mark to Sinclair, held up by Paul Curtis. Wilkie. Out wide to Wood, so cautious precision ball use is something that you like to switch into?
Yeah, certainly like to switch between different modes. As you said, that first quarter, we were looking to sort of create run off the half-back line with plenty of handball, and we're probably overusing it at times a little bit. So something we can certainly switch to is that kick mark game and work our way out the field.
Go to court. He kicked to the hot spot, put it in a good spot for the fumble. If it happened, Taylor puts that fire out, finds Stevenson, and they're off down the middle. Luke Davies-Uniacke, they come at him, but he's not quite precise enough to hit forward. Webster, Windhager, Jones, Windhager running like the wind from 60, pops it towards Owens, and again Goda fills in the hole. Tucker's out, has a bounce, had a paddock and an eternity. Needs to use it wisely now, and it's a 2-on-1. He used it poorly. Webster and Wilkie around Paul Curtis.
I mean, this will be their issue to play out now with Larkey off, and he doesn't look too good on the bench.
That Goldie there, he was had his hand in the air. And Goldie may have to be the replacement for Larkey, and they just interchange the rucks from the goal square.
Got some star quality. Goda goes wide to Archer, who again looks like he's got what it takes. Finds Howe. All the way back to Mackay. And now Shields. Tight contest. Short again to Tucker. As I mentioned, when these two teams met earlier this year, North Melbourne were held goalless to half-time. This is an impressive start. They're yet to win a game under Brett Ratten North, the ex-St Kilda coach. There's been a bit of spice in this during the week, and it's lived up to expectations so far. Wood hams it. Ugly bounce for Phillippo. Had to go back and get it. They've got him. Shields and Sheasel.
You're loving North Melbourne's intensity around the ball.
Billings. Filippo ducked into it but got away with it. High.
There's ferocious tackling at this stage, Jordan.
Right, absolutely. Brett Ratten would be pleased with that.
Sits it up, puts it to the hot spot. Caminiti from 3 deep. Mackay's almost marked that. He tried to claim it. Umpire would have none of it. Cherry. Howe. And
it's a bad miss, isn't it? Yeah, just trying to be a little bit too cute. Sometimes you need to try and take as much ground as you possibly can. The contest that he was going to was a one-on-one anyway.
Windhager. Had to fight hard to get his spot in this team. 27 possessions last week, though. Some good form. And this is to the near side.
Guys, Nick Larkey is back out on the field after having some treatment on his left ankle. He had it taped, did some running, wasn't pleased, and then had it retaped again. So a bit of a watch on Nick Larkey and how he's moving.
Down the line towards the wing. Paul Curtis, Wilkie. Webster, half held, but not fully. Hunter Clark. That's a throw from Steele, surely. Flicked it out, got away with it, and knocked to the boundary. Your academy kids have been pretty good, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. I think Windy's had a bit of an indifferent year, starting in the midfield, breaking his hand, but now he's come back and he's learned his craft, applying his trade at half-back, and Owens, well, he's one of the frontrunners for the Rising Stars, and he's just been awesome for us this year. And really, I thought he was a midfielder when he came to the club, so to be able to do what he's doing up forward is pretty impressive.
You don't want any more competition through the middle.
Maybe not for another couple of years.
Little knock from Steele to his own advantage. Hess central with the kick. North with numbers behind the ball. That's almost a mark, but umpire screen play on. So more than one set of hands on it. Touched. That's the man we've been speaking about. Mitch Owens gets to his feet with the Sharon, but a dangerous spot for a ball to be thrown in the air. Owens does the ruck work, and again they come at him, and you're throwing him to the ruck quite often.
Yes, I don't know if he likes that too much, Cheeto. He's up against the big boys in there, but look, he's an awesome competitor, and he just loves the fight. So I'm not sure it's his first option, but he's happy to throw his body in there.
Having a fantastic season and a darn good game.
See what Cheeto can do here. Mitchell Owens he had to hold Cherry because Cherry had the height advantage on him, which is the failing in using him. Core. No one comes at him, so runs his way slowly, meanders through half-back, heads toward the wing, and well read by Battle. Leads them all forward. Sits it on Hunter Clark's head. That was horrible. Luke Davies-Uniacke looks up. He's got Larkey out the back in a one-on-one. Needs to be good. Larkey's got it. And he has this kick for the lead.
There was a good turnover by St.Kilda, but the kick from Battle just hung in the air too long, didn't he? And North Melbourne have been really good without the ball, and that's from pressure, that's from recovering defensively, giving themselves multiple opportunities to take the ball forward.
For goal number 2 for Larkey, and more importantly, for the lead for the first time today.
Well, turnover kicks are killers. Here's one on point. I mean, that just should have been on target, and then the Saints are having a shot from goal, and then the turnover in that area just exposes your defence. You can't get numbers down there. You can't get extra support. And Larkey's got the prime position. He's in behind. He's able to nudge him out, and he goes back, and as he normally does, he nails it.
It's also playing LDU, taking advantage of the stand rule. Yep. That's what you can do. You can mark the ball, basically stand where you marked it, and then be able to roll and play on.
Seb Ross has been with us. Seb, thanks for coming up. When are you ready with your hamstring? How's it going?
It's coming along well. I'm sort of on track for about another 3 weeks, I think. It'll either be when we play Richmond in round 22, and whether that's through the VFL have a bye that week, so I'm not sure what that will look like. But certainly the next week, so another 3 or 4.
Thanks for coming up. We look forward to seeing you out there rather than up here.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
Seb Ross joining us, two-time best and fairest with the Saints as North Melbourne have a run on here. Shields has a run on himself. Spears that in the Larky direction. Got a hand on it. Almost a free kick to Harvey. And that's a free kick for High. Paul Curtis to line up and make this 3 goals in a row for North.
They've been awesome this quarter. They really have. And it's off the back of pressure. Pressuring contested stuff in and around the contest. St Kilda are constantly sending a spare forward up, but that's not making any sort of difference.
It's a Saints home game. They've got the majority of the fans in the house. And they breathe a sigh of relief there.
Momentum killers, aren't they? Those shots at goal that should go through. Been so fantastic, North Melbourne, with their pressure. But you've got to get it on the scoreboard.
So Wanganeen-Milera had a stroll and realised there's nowhere to go. Went to Windhager, goes wide to Wood. He's got a couple to beat and beats them.
He's been good.
Yeah. He's trying to prove that point to North, who delisted him and said you were no longer required. Free kick.
North Melbourne.
So Howe has to give this over. Young.
And North have defended that forward handball really well. Pressing up.
So who's going to get the run at it? Larky in the middle of that pack, thump toward the boundary, and Hunter Clark with some assistance gets it over.
Yeah, they can see the way that St Kilda want to play. They want to involve handball receives, but as soon as that forward handball goes, there's a North Melbourne player coming in, closing space, applying defensive pressure.
Back into play, Goldstein. Been fantastic. Back into the lineup this week. Jones. Wanganeen-Milera. Over the head of Sharman, had to go back and fetch it.
It was a perfect kick, though. He could have kept running. Didn't have any support down the ground, though, so it was a good decision, but the corridor opens up.
Marshall, but sits on his head. He's got the reach. Goda over-committed. Back inside 50. Good tackle on Filippo, laid by Young.
Just got to get on the move a little bit, Filippo. And the kick was there, but if he just gets some separation, he's going to be able to take uncontested marks.
From the scramble, mass of players around it. Wood struck it pretty well. Needs a kick bounce. And taken to the fence, pushed to the side, or it's a free kick. Was that a push in the back? Higgins.
It certainly looked like a push in the back live, Dwayne.
Okay. Okay. And, umpire's going to force him to go back. Higgins also back into the lineup this week. He's had a practice shot, and it was a perfect one. Can he do it again?
The practice you miss and you get a mulligan.
Back from knee soreness. Here we go. Carbon copy. Post.
I was rushing it. Yeah, take your time.
Goda. A run, a bounce. Goldstein, Wilkie a little too wide. Wilkie. Battle. Blasts it long. Mackay, good spot, great hands.
Yeah, Billings had to go there. He looked at Mackay. He knew he was the only one that was going to contest that mark. He just needed to compete.
To Core. This is the best North have looked for a while. Short pass to Phillips. Ooh, is that 50?
Sure.
Wow, it was round 3. Core out wide. Ford's going to have to go here. He doesn't go. He lets Howard go alone.
Yeah, it's the same as what happened just before.
So St Kilda maintaining this front half pressure and front half possession, but they just can't isolate a forward. Even that last kick deep, it was intercepted by Mackay. They just didn't have any target there.
North Melbourne are doing a really good job blocking up the corridor. Probably allowing them to switch the ball nice and deep, sliding over.
So Battle, Windhager, Webster. Down low, Steele. Cut off. Paul Curtis read his mind. Flicked it to Phillips. Open space. Larky's in a one-on-one forward if they want to bang it long. Don't want to. They want to use it more wisely. Shields still got Larky over the top. Fist away by Howard. Didn't just fist it away. He fisted it straight to Wilkie, who he knew was there. Turns it back over to Goda.
You don't see Wilkie panic too often. No. Just the sign of the pressure that's been built upon by North Melbourne.
Play on. End zone.
Sends it long. Tarrant Thomas gets the early rise. Ford flicks it out. Cherry. Harvey looped it. Tucker. Larky tried to fend off on Filippo. No. Ball.
He's had a rough couple of minutes, Larky. Poor kick from Liam Shields coming in before. He had a really good position. Guarded the space really well.
North won their first 2 games this season. They've lost their past 15 games in a row, North.
They've taken St Kilda's game away from them really successfully today. They look as if they're second-guessing themselves with the ball in hand, the Saints.
Brett Ratten's 9th game as caretaker coach. Are they going to win one for him? This might be it, and Goldie is trying to inspire them.
Once again, no outlet kicks down the line to the wrong man.
To Taylor. Belief is higher than it's been for weeks for North. Curtis Taylor doesn't want to waste this either. Pulls the kick late. Cherry got there.
Well, that's a great kick and a great mark, but it's horrible defence. I mean, they just sat there and watched him. You showed some vision before the match about the Saints looking like they're in the mud. And that's how they're looking at the moment. Just robbed of their confidence by the pressure of the Kangaroos.
Brett Ratten's trusted Tristan Cherry the last few weeks. Has brought Goldstein back in to make it a duo. You know, Callum Coleman-Jones, and he drills this and delivers big time for his team and his coach.
Yeah, you're right, Jared. Just no communication off the ball. We see there the defenders getting together and trying to work out what happened. But someone's got to take account, especially for the big fellas forward of the ball. But this is what I loved. Goldstein down the line. They go to a one-on-one. Jones v Goldstein. It was the wrong decision early on. But Philippou, not a defender, but you still have to maintain body contact and not allow him to run and jump at the ball. It was, in the end, it was a really easy mark.
Horrible decision to go down the line, though, to that kick, and then poor defence. When St Kilda used to love the mud back in the 70s and 80s at Lyncham Street, but there's none here, but they're playing like they're in it.
Brett Ratten, 9th game as caretaker coach. Yet to coach a North win. Now coached as many North games as Alistair Clarkson has. Hands back the reins in 2 weeks. This week and next week, North have to get Brett Ratten a win. Flung in the air. Flick down, Luke Davies-Uniacke. Meeting that sandwich.
Well, as one of the great midfielders, Brett Ratten, I think, would take it as a personal insult that they're not winning centre bounce clearances as they haven't done over the last few weeks badly. But today, he's got his way. 5-2 in front.
So Billings handed it off wide. Massage kick. Owens, Wanganeen-Milera, Sinclair.
Just allowing the Kangas to get their entire fleet behind the ball.
Crouch. Again to the hot spot. Chance for the Leapers to go up. Good spoil. Tucker. Nice ball use to Thomas.
Jordan, if you're eventually going to kick a long ball down to a contest, why don't you go quicker when there's less North Melbourne players there?
Yeah, I think they're trying to change the angles a little bit too much. St Kilda trying to force it a little bit.
Yeah.
Larky, he's got a couple to beat. Sinclair got a paw on. He hit the pause button, went to Crouch, and he hit the wrong target. Luke Davies-Uniacke in the spin cycle. Blasted long, Paul Curtis, Wilkie, Larky, spins out of one, danced high, surely.
He was lucky there, Larky.
Very, he had multiple options, didn't he, Jared?
The pressure was there, the technique not quite, but there was options. He was looking for the one round the corner through the sticks.
Yeah, that's what happens when you take the ball forward quickly. You know, really challenge the opposition. Wilkie's a good defender, but when the ball comes in really quickly and you're under pressure, it's clearly too high.
for his third for the afternoon. And they're pretty good numbers, this spot all grounds. He brings that back to perfection. And trouble in paradise here for the Saints home fans. North out to a 13-point margin.
Yeah, it's just been on the back of magnificent pressure. Sloppy stuff, this. I mean, for a high-end defender, that's just poor tackling technique. And lucky he's in pursuit of that 50, Dwayne.
So North haven't led at halftime in any game since round 4. So it must feel like a different world they're living in right now. They've been comprehensively outplayed quite a bit in recent times. And Ross Lyon's a little edgy in his seat in his 18th game back as Saints coach since taking over from Brett Ratten, who's in the opposing coach's box, and he knows these Saints pretty well. And there he is. Still a lot of footy left in this. As I mentioned, after 18 games last season under that man, the Saints were 10 wins, 8 losses, and he'd just been re-signed. They need to win this, the Saints, to be 10 wins and 8 losses at the same point of this year. They win this game, though, the Saints, and win it by enough. They could jump up to 5th. 4 points are huge for them in more ways than one. Billings got it from Steele, and Mackay starting to play some sort of game.
Once again, it's a poor kick going inside, allowing Mackay to edge him under the ball. They're going to have to change up their attack going into the forward half, Dwayne, or this is going to be messy for the Saints. Doing a great job, the Kangaroos.
Talaki, who came hard, took a couple of Saints down. Wood, inside kick. Nicely delivered to Crouch beyond his range. Knows it, pokes it, finds Billings.
Wanganeen-Milera is not happy. Smacking in the turf. He's got a really bad corky. Maybe even an ankle.
So they're a man down. Brad Hill subbed out. Sub on, Jack Billings with a huge moment here. And he is not quite equal to it. Caught a fingertip on the way through. And now Wanganeen-Milera in the hands of trainers. Sheasel to Mackay to Sheasel. Big 47 seconds coming up. Love to get one, don't want to concede one here. North. LDU, tight ropes the boundary, did beautifully. Ole lifted his arms above heads. Cut off by Owens, got the handle off just in time. Steele, a little 1-2. A little 1-2-3 perhaps. Hunter Clark in the congestion, feeds it back. Still plenty of time left for Gresham. Steele, wide ball, huge ball. Paddle from Tucker. Young to help him out. Gresham goes hard and low.
And they're going to need the likes of Gresham to produce 2/4 of their finest footy. They're down one of their best kicks in Hill. It looks like Wanganeen-Milera may also have some real issues. So the challenges are there.
Seconds tick down. Quick fire kick on the siren. No mark this time. There was plenty of spice in the lead-up to this contest. The final game of the round. Some Sunday twilight footy. And for those who like their footy with spice, it's living up to the expectation. North, who've not won a game for 15 games in a row, won their first 2 games this season by less than a goal over the West Coast. And Fremantle hunting down one after a long drought as we head downstairs to Sarah Jones.
A massive half of football still to come here at Marvel Stadium, with North Melbourne leading it by 12 points. And then we head to Fox Footy HQ, because Sunday nights have a bit of everything. Straight after the game, the A-team take over. Chief and all the guys on bounce. They'll take a lighter look at the game we love, and then we take a deep dive on First Crack and see how the game has shaped up this weekend and who's in line to make September. September. That's all tonight on Fox Footy.
It is furious. That is absolutely outrageous.
And it's lights out and away we go. Of all the drama, of all the controversy, absolutely incredible.
Yes, Dan, Ricciardo returns to Formula One tonight on Fox Sports. The big question here at Marvel Stadium is North Melbourne racing to their first win since way back in March, George. They are taking it right up to St Kilda.
Yeah, well, they've certainly started the game well, and I think it's been off the back of pressure. I mean, both teams have been relatively messy with ball in hand and trying to use it by foot or by hand through the middle of the ground and causing some turnovers. But I've just loved what North Melbourne have been able to bring, and I love the forward pressure. So whenever they realise St Kilda are trying to get into this handball game and try and pick their way through North Melbourne, it's the second player that comes in that stops them in their track, and off the back of that, they've been able to cause some forward half turnovers and really go back the other way with some venom.
So St Kilda's ball movement, we're seeing plenty of turnovers, and it almost looks like they're second-guessing themselves. They look a bit gun-shy.
I think they're forcing it. You know, we spoke to Ross Lyon pre-game, and it was all about transition, trying to go from one end to the other and create scoring opportunities, but I think it was off the back of them trying to force it a little bit, and then North Melbourne going the other way and really making them pay. North Melbourne look better when they go into a kick mark game. St Kilda look a little bit flustered. They're trying to play quick. They're trying to play with aggression, with ball in hand, but North Melbourne are onto it defensively. So I think Brett Ratten sits back and go, hey, I really like the way that the game looks, where we're losing clearances. St Kilda are bringing up a number to help with the clearances. North Melbourne are tending to go a deeper spare, which is helping them defend, but also their transition game as well.
And a massive blow for the St Kilda Football Club early in the game. Your old premiership teammate Bradley Hill subbed out after a heavy collision with Aidan Corr. He's been sent to hospital for precautionary scans on his chest. So hopefully Hilly's okay.
Yeah, his whole body was open in that instance. It was a fair hit. He was open. Unfortunately, he copped it right down the sternum. So he'll be going to get checked out, but let's hope he's okay. He's in good spirits from what we hear. Let's hope the scans reveal he's okay.
And we're just awaiting word from the club as to whether Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera can take any further part in the match. He hobbled off late too, so some injury concerns for the Saints.
They don't need him out. When they're not using the ball that well out of their back half, they don't need to be missing him.
A big night tomorrow on Fox Footy. On the couch, the heavy hitters with the big opinions take their seats and dissect everything that happens over the weekend of football. AFL 360 Saints fans, Ross Lyon will be at the desk to discuss tonight's match, and Chris Scott, the Cats premiership coach as well.
Michael Voss and Craig McRae, my old teammates. Their journeys aligned as players. Side by side they sat in the locker room, constructing one of the game's great dynasties.
The Lions have gone back to back to back.
Both found a calling for this. Coaching. Coaching at the top level. Now leading two of the competition's powerhouses, Carlton and Collingwood. A rivalry that's unrivaled. Each generation passing on their love of their team and loathe for the other.
These two sides genuinely don't like each other.
Friday night. The 264th meeting.
They're lifting the pies. Hold your breath. Breathe.
Collingwood win. Carlton are out of the finals.
The Blues on the march. 5 straight wins.
It's absolutely marvellous if you're a Carlton fan.
Their army awoken.
And the Blues fans are cheering and cheering.
Now, for a black and white examination. Stopping the Magpies and their young maestro, Nick Dacos, is no easy task.
What a star this young man is!
Did I mention before Nick's barnstorming rise into the game's elite that he was a blue bagger? What could have been? More importantly, we're about to find out the way it is.
It doesn't get much bigger than Carlton and Collingwood. You can catch that Friday night footy on Fox. Let's head into the Fox Footy newsroom now where John Ralph is standing by. And Ralphie, is the orange tsunami rolling into September?
Well, Sarah, Adam Kingsley and the Giants are officially on fire. So a 40-point victory today over Gold Coast. It's their 6th victory in a row. Snapped a Monica Oval losing streak. They're in the 6th spot. And I tell you what, they'll have a genuine crack at the Western Bulldogs in Ballarat next Saturday. So they moved through the gears against Gold Coast. Toby Green subbed off, but it was very much a precaution after being best of field with 3 goals for. So that 40-point final margin and a first 6-match win streak since that 2016 preliminary final campaign. Now, Will Ashcroft's season is over, and the fallout impacts not only his rising star hopes, but clearly the finals run of Brisbane and their premiership hopes. Lions football boss Danny Daly confirmed the diagnosis today. He said everyone at the club was hurting. He was the short-priced rising star favourite, but the bigger issue clearly is how the Lions replace him in September after a spectacular first season. Now, Sam Walsh is expected to miss the Blues clash next Friday night against Collingwood with a hamstring injury. Michael Voss had said he hoped it was a very minor hamstring, but it does look like that 2 to 3 weeker. Patrick Cripps, though, the inspirational captain, should return off his own corked hamstring. Jack Silvani, he is in real doubt himself after being subbed off with a knee injury. Again, Vossi really confident it was at the minor end of the scale, but the expectation is that he will miss. He wasn't able to get out of second gear, so Mark Pittonet would be the ruck replacement there, given he got through a VFL game off his own issues. And I have to report that Nathan Buckley, well, he's had his injury set back, playing for Neil Madarnam in the Carlton draft game. They lost by 2 points only a few minutes ago. Bucks came in with an injury to his calf, suffered a injury to his groin in the warm-up, and only lasted 8 minutes there. So the live and exclusive vision of that will be on Bounce. Hope the Bounce crew go very easy on a very shattered Nathan Buckley.
Oh, poor old Bucks. I hope he's doing okay. Well, the young Oz kickers here at Marvel Stadium, they're doing fine. They're having a ball out in the middle, playing with their mates and having a kick on the great surface that is here at Marvel Stadium. Join us after the break. We head back to second half action. It is the Kangas by 12.
Second half about to get underway here at Marvel Stadium. The Saints began the round inside the 8. They're currently outside the 8. Win, they're back in by enough, and they can climb a few extra spots on the ladder. There's a bit on this. And for the Kangaroos, their players are going to win 1 for this so far winless coach Brett Ratten. This is the one.
They've got to find a way to score goals, Jordan. They kicked the first 2. Since then, it's been 6 goals to North Melbourne, 1 to St.Kilda. They've missed a couple of shots, but they look so stodgy going inside their forward 50. It's got to get quicker, and it's got to get a little bit more streamlined than the way they're travelling at the moment.
Saints led by 9 points at quarter time. North have kicked the last 4 goals of this game. Goldstein doing well in the ruck. Steele, Reddy's palm is almost corkscrewed into the car park.
How long did they give him?
I know, they turned him around 3 times.
Blow the whistle straight away. I mean, that could have been an instance where the player wanted to take him to ground. Blow the whistle. He clearly wasn't getting rid of the ball. Eliminate all risk.
Look, Davies-Uniacke.
He's been unbelievable today.
Blasts it long. Larkey under it, couldn't get near it, and that's a big mark going back with Battle. Back with the flight.
Well, this has been their issue. Their ability to transfer the ball.
Wood gets up. Filippo, front spot. Gathered his own crumb. Butler got away. Short kick, hoping for but not finding Higgins until it rolled out.
This is the other thing. I'd like to see St Kilda leave their 6 forwards ahead of the ball. They've brought a high half forward up, winning the stoppages, but not necessarily helping them keep the ball in their own forward 50.
With Davies-Uniacke again, handballs inside to Taron Thomas. Realised there wasn't a lot of space, floats it wide, does well, got it to Tucker.
So 6 clearances, LDU up to 17 disposals, leading all possession winners on the ground.
Found Young between 3 Saints. He heads long. Paul Curtis got up, great crumb. Kick around the body by Ford. Claims it was touched and it was across the face anyway.
It's a difference so far. I mean, the North Kangaroos just getting some free-flowing ball inside their forward 50, getting a shot on goal. It's been a long time since St Kilda has enjoyed the same.
Sinclair to Wilkie, back to Sinclair. Nicely delivered to Sharman, hasn't had a big impact just yet. A 3-goal game last week. Owens. Chip kick, Phillippo was nice. Hunter Clark. Balls the kick late, and Caminiti puts it to grass.
Still 1 man down in the forward line, the Saints.
Hunter Clark mopped up his mess. Went towards Marshall, but outreached and outgunned by Goldie.
And I reckon that's their issue, Jared. North Melbourne are getting back so hard and fast and clogging up those leading lanes. If you're a St Kilda player, you need to press forward equally as hard.
Mackay was classy, got it to Tucker.
And give it back.
Taylor ignored him, went down the line to a 1-on-2. Went to Cherry as the 1. Mopped up that little mess too. Gave it to Paul Curtis. He's out. Looks up, spears, pocket. Taron Thomas just carried.
Could have come in board if he had have looked straight away. Sometimes you just need to turn your head and have a look if there's an easier option, but he's gone back.
Only had half a dozen touches in the first half, so he hasn't had any impact really. This gives him an opportunity, but just see the number of North Melbourne players.
Bends it to perfection. 5 goals in a row for North.
Well, the worrying side for Ross Lyon and for St Kilda fans would just be the amount of St Kilda players that were run past with that ball coming out of the half-back line. Here's the turnover, and there's the mud scenario, the mud syndrome that you were talking about, Jordan. They are just plodding. It's a 2-on-1, and they eventually win the ball.
Well, they're stuck in between the arcs, St Kilda, so North Melbourne are getting back really hard in defence, allowing them to transition the ball. But when they go inside their own forward 50, they've got options everywhere. That was a lovely kick from Curtis. It had to be pinpoint to get over the head of Milera. What a finish. You're right, there's some worrying sides here for St Kilda.
The other kid is doing really well is young Sheasel, who's had so much of it in the first half. So they've had him and LDU and Tucker doing a great job. Shields, the old man, he's still plodding away.
Getting dangerous now. Nice move by Wood. Over their head, straight down the spine, and Caminiti can't collect it. Crumbs it. Flicks it. Higgins was there, couldn't make something of it. Hunter Clark will tap, paddle, found some space, but there wasn't a lot. Gets a roller, goal square. Higgins! Hunted, taken to the line, ball.
Yeah. Well, that's the quickest passage of play we've seen. The lethal weapon of Wood's boot. It didn't hit the target, but it gave them a reference point. They got some crummers there, and the pressure was brought to bear.
Had one of these at the opposite end, couldn't nail it. He hit the posts. He reaches deep into his bag of tricks there.
Yeah, you're right. As soon as Mason Wood got the ball in the middle of the ground, he's looked their most likely type to take the game on, to break the lines, use the length of his leg and get the ball inside forward 50. Probably should have rushed it through for a point there, Tucker. Maybe thought he was going to get saved by the boundary. Just fell into the wrong man's hand in Higgins. Classy finish. Missed one early in the second term up the other end.
Yep. Well, he actually kicked it, but
he kicked the first 2.
That's right.
And then missed the third one.
Yeah, for those who weren't with us for the opening half, he was called back twice, and then when he finally got the chance to take the shot, the umpire said, yep, you can have it this time. He hit the post. Game on again. Bounce in the middle. Ball knocked down to Luke Davies-Uniacke, who's been epic. To Phillips. Towards Cherry, got there, just tunneled it a little. Battle at the back. Sinclair. He's almost had his own share on outside of the boot to Bytel. A little bit extra mayo on it.
Oh, I thought that bump was after the mark. You're right, Sinclair and Wood are probably the two. If they can get the ball in their hands, they'll have a chance to transition the ball.
Hunter Clark goes up, so too McDonald, and well crumbed by Butler. Blasts it long. He's got Owens in the spot. Goes up. Can't mark it. Filippo turned out of a jam. Floats a little on him. Tucker under it. And it bounced kindly for him. Bounced out.
Yeah, just trying to overplay his hand a little bit there. You want to see some excitement. You want to see the young bloke do what he can do, but the handball's there. It's got to be given.
At the Rising Star knob. And these two teams met early in the season. Mateus Filippo got the nod ahead of quite a field at that stage of nominations. Goldstein with the reach and the experience on Caminiti, who had the dexterity but couldn't have the finish that he was after.
They're a different side when the likes of Higgins and Dan Butler get to work, Jordan. They're the ones who do the role playing. They get up and down the ground, help the transition, and they give the speed. Dan Butler's had just 5 touches. And he's one that, if the Saints are going to get up, is going to have to get seriously involved.
Bailey Scott got it from Howe, down the line. Howard. No arm chop from Cherry. Now he's caught, stripped. Had an eternity. Saints fans want a ball. They get the ball anyway. Hunter Clark out the front.
2 on 1.
Caminiti's the 1 and Mackay one of the 2.
It's impossible for the young bloke to beat the 2.
And here's Sheasel again. Phillips didn't want to waste it. Heads out wide. Goldstein with the reach. Windhager poked it away. He got all ball. Harvey couldn't pounce on it, but he pounces on the tackle. Brilliant. He's been good. He's been good, Cooper Harvey, in game 3. From the scramble. Bartel kick half smothered. Tucker. Shields. Luke Davies-Uniacke goes back to go forward. Dangerous. Billings cut it off. Then he was half held. Gresham. And he turns it over straight to Mackay.
So to lower his eyes, you'd only imagine didn't see, but North are on to go through the middle of the ground.
Turnover could be huge. Young to Howe. He's enjoying his second incarnation as a footballer. Heads out wide to Cherry.
Stevens is probably the one that's free.
Stevenson stays down. Goldstein from 4 deep and beaten by Marshall. That's big. And now he's told to go. Windhager. Owens. Spent most of the afternoon forward. All the way back to the back pocket to relieve some pressure. Young couldn't complete the deal. Shields' little knock on was delightful to Young, who breaks free. Spears it, goal square. Larkey's there, got a hand on it, off hands. Paul Curtis taken to the line, almost content with that. Got a little nudge on the way through.
Great release though by Sheasel. He takes that ball in his hands, he gets tackled. It's a throw up at best. But he knocks it on and the flow goes and the pressure comes to be brought to bear on the Saints.
Goldstein, Marshall, big Goldie got 2 palms on it, knocked it down. Steele scrambles it away. Butler couldn't get the rise. Core goes and gets. Coming off arguably his best game last week as a Kangaroo. Aiden Core, 27 possessions, gave it to McDonald. Well, that kick wasn't part of his grand plan, but the chaos ball might still work. Scott couldn't corral it. It's in there somewhere.
He's in trouble.
Was that jumped on? You bet it was.
It was the wrong decision by McDonald to ask for the handball receive. He just put himself under pressure. They got away with it in Liam Shields, the tackle. He's had a good afternoon, Liam Shields, up to 14 disposals, 7 tackles.
Kicked plenty of these. 171 games, 255 of them with Hawthorn. 3 premierships. 93 goals total for his career coming into this game. Ankle injury hampered him a little last week, but in he struts. Massive moment. Didn't really hit it that well. Didn't hit it as well as he would have liked. Behind.
Well, out of jail to some degree there, Hunter Clark. If you jump on the ball, you're going to get pinged. You can't go to ground and expect to be given a credit by the umpire.
Howard, no one on the mark. battle. And 50. So it'll come back. Saints. Just the explanation. Delaney T. 15-metre penalty. Saints led by 9. At quarter time, short to Sinclair, the delivery man with precision again to Bytel. Back into the lineup this week. He spears it. He's got Wood on the run, and he hits him lace out with a ribbon on it.
Yeah, Wood just didn't turn his back on the ball. I think the kick was meant for Owens, provided a really good lead. But Wood realised he was probably closer to the drop of the ball and had his opponent done over in that occasion.
Saints haven't been kicking big scores. Only managed 8 goals total in each of their past 2 games. Wood from right on the paint. Misses.
Yeah, lucky. I mean, such a let-off with that 50-metre penalty, wasn't it? St. Kilda have really struggled to get out of their own defensive half.
Core, Sheasel, McDonald, that mac and cheese combo. Sheasel finds Mac into the middle. Taron Thomas can't pounce on that. Wilkie gets it to Jones. Doesn't want to waste it. Holds possession. Feeds it to Sharman. Back inside. Well, probably one of Wanganeen-Milera, who gets it eventually anyway. Jones about to be caught. Sheasel. He read that beautifully. He knew exactly where it was going. Phillips down the spine. Wanted to be aggressive, but to his detriment. Wanganeen-Milera, steal. Windhager. Heads wide. Sherry gets back. Big fist. Had the reach on it and kills it to the line.
I just reckon they've got to give away the long kick into the forward line. It's just not working. They haven't got a target down there that's got the maturity or the strength. Mason Wood is the one that, to me, that is their weapon. They can come wide. They can even push him down there to a degree, but they are ignoring their biggest threat at the moment.
Has the flick to Billings, a little flick over their head. Touch play on. This will work though for the Saints. Mackay, they got plenty around it. Gresham, Jones gets his moment and can't make it count.
Yeah, that's a big let-off. They're the ones that you need to take. They've only had a limited number of opportunities. Had a lot of time and space there, Jones, to make that one convert. I think you're right, Jerry. I think going inside forward 50, the Saints need to make better decisions. There was multiple options on. Go inside last time.
Ford got his way to the front. Goldstein barreled past a couple. Battle handballed into space, but Shields was waiting for it. Back towards Taylor if he can get there, and he did get there. Had to motor. Hands it off to Sheasel. It's been superb. Puts it in Larkey's direction. Fist away. Harvey about to pounce. He did pounce big time. Webster. No free. Marshall. Jones, just his 3rd game of the season. Heads out wide. Butler content with that. And the crowd a little restless here.
Yeah, good forward pressure from Harvey.
Wow.
You get an eternity these days.
Back into play. Cherry, Marshall, Howe scrambles it. Is Harvey again. Harvey, Windhager. Couple of classy kids. Ball to the boundary. Ball in. Windhager's had to work his backside off to get back in. With their academy players. Saints matched Geelong's bid draft night to steal him. Had a hand injury earlier this season. But it's a big battle, that one. Back into play. Steele, stolen by Taron Thomas. He put it down to the feet of Phillips. That didn't work. So he puts that fire out by going and getting it himself. Phillips caught in a jam. High. Again, sits it up long. Goldstein's coming late. Got there late. Couldn't get his hands on it. Scott. A roller, a tumbler.
Had more time, Dwayne.
Yeah.
He had a mountain of time.
Coming off that career-high 34 possession game last week, and he was free. And the Saints get away scot-free.
Yeah, they look a lot more dangerous going inside their own forward 50, North Melbourne, than what St Kilda do the other end. So long bomb to the top of the goal square is working for North Melbourne, not necessarily St Kilda.
Big leap by Core, thumped it back in that Harvey direction.
It's been unrelenting, their pressure, though, and again, there's more elements to pressure than tackling, but the inequity in the tackle number is quite extraordinary. At 3-12.
For the quarter.
For the quarter.
Yep.
Davies-Uniacke getting a well-earned rest. Cherry, Marshall. A lot of traffic there. Sharman squeezed it away. Mitch Owens. He's got that reach again, and the poise, and the craft. Wanted the 1-2, didn't get it back, and he was dumped late.
Yeah.
So it'll be maybe downfield. Play on advantage, maybe.
Oh, it's at a disadvantage now.
Yeah. And the Saints fans getting a little restless here. I believe a few things have gone against them.
Well, that certainly did. And as soon as you blow the whistle for advantage, everything stops. Every other sport, umpire's able to just signal advantage.
Windhager. Bullet pass.
That's a better kick. Now, that same kick needs to go inside forward 50. Try and find an open target. Create some leading lanes.
Steele heads wide. Caminiti maybe with a jump from 3 deep. Couldn't pounce on it.
That's probably the kick that Seb Ross was touching on. Just get that kick deep. Allows you to set up behind the ball. Give yourself a chance at stoppages, forward 50 stoppages. Create a bit of chaos.
Got a few here. Billings waiting for it. Gresham, Higgins. Higgins almost. Mackay gave it up. Phillips and Jones. I'll do it again.
It's not a great feeling when you've got Gresham, Higgins, Jones running at you. Cutting different directions.
You go to almost manhandling Higgins to stop him from having any freedom. Back into play. Cherry gets a half knockdown. Billings spent that before he'd completely earned it. Little tap on. Webster, Wanganeen-Milera. Howard caught. Just a handball in time. Webster caught. Spin out of danger. Was delightful from Wanganeen-Milera. Floats at top of the square. Owens, good contest. He got it to ground. This is Higgins' territory. But he's caught. Another dangerous spot for a ball up. For North. Cherry knocks it down. Go to Higgins' man. Went and got it. And they'll do it again.
Yeah, I mean, the Scott and Mason Wood one's important. Scott just can't get sucked into the contest if it spills out that way.
Caminiti fights hard in that ruck contest. Jones, was he caught high? Grabbed by the collar. Little horse collar tackle allowed. Howe. Sharman, Howe. Good little battle that. Owens made it 2-on-2. And now the boundary umpire can decide it.
Bit of fatigue coming in now. Just stoppage after stoppage. A little bit scrappy. In and around the contest, can't go from inside to out.
Saints began the round inside the 8. They currently sit outside the 8. They win this, they're back in.
And that pressure goes, tells a story.
Jones caught, wrapped up. Ball up.
Kangaroos just continuing to go harder than the Saints without the ball.
Best chance of winning for weeks for the Roos. 15 losses in a row. Free kick. Jones was slung.
It's a let-off, isn't it? I mean, North Melbourne did so well to defend. St Kilda were mounting that pressure, stoppage after stoppage. You see all the players running for the bench to get a spell. Really important kick here by Jones.
Been a little rusty. Game 3 for the year. From just inside the arc. Struck it pretty well, but it's drifting. Only behind. Had their chances, no need to tell you that, as you look at the score being 4-11. Core.
Play on!
Told to go. Now, Higgins doesn't hear it initially, now he's in some trouble. No, he's not. Shook him out of his shoes. Broke his ankles and took off. Heads wide, forward. Great hands.
Gee, they got out of jail there, didn't they?
They what?
They look gone, Paul.
And they're growing with confidence, the Kangaroos.
I know this is a huge opportunity. Haven't had any opportunities to win for a while in second halves, and almost a mark to Cherry. There's the ankle breaker. Oh, he almost threw a foot out. Try and stop him there, Higgins. No contact. .22 gone in this third. It's been edge of the seat stuff from the outset. Sinclair feeds it off and no room to roam. Sinclair's had 22 possessions, averaging 29 per game. On target to better that this afternoon, and they're going to need him to. If you joined us late, Brad Hill subbed out early in this one off to hospital. Ball knocked down to Luke Davies-Uniacke. Caught by Bytel. Tucker. Young. Thought he was away. Filippo wrapped him up and he had an eternity. Jones scrambles it inside 50. Core gets back, but he puts it to grass. Danger now. Caught. Archer flings it. Billings bangs it straight to McDonald. Tucker, and they dodge another bullet north. Saints almost their own worst enemy. Down the line they travel. Through hands, this will work. Paul Curtis gets some protection from forward. Little tap, back inside, shrugs. Taylor heads long. Can Larkey get there? Thomas is at the back. He waited for it to come through hands, and it didn't.
Also missed tackles.
Missed tackles twice.
From St.Kilda, in a really good position to tackle. Quite often the St Kilda player tackling is the bigger body. It just can't complete, allowing North Melbourne to waltz their way through. Miscommunication here. Stevenson in the ruck.
Against Battle. Up to the front. Sinclair. Good use of the body. Went back to get it, but Stevenson got there first, and see if they find another ruck option here.
Well, Cherry's behind the ball and Goldstein's off. So usually it's a tall forward in Larkey that comes up, but he wants to remain deep.
Maybe the unpredictability can work for them. Stevenson, Battle, short throw in. Stevenson gets it back. Kikar smothered in there somewhere. Scott gets it, kicks it, top of the square. Larkey, not the second grab. Front on contact from Webster. No free. Umpire put the whistle away. Wanganeen-Milera. He hit the pause button, then he hit Scott, who hits it out of play instead of going for the mark. Safety first.
They're just building pressure. They've got the ground set up really well as well. Caused the deepest. Here we see the free kick. A little bit too high as he's falling. Wasn't paid. Yeah, they've got their own time to build some pressure, North Melbourne.
Cherry, short throw in, read it well. Billings with the crumb. One-on-one, Caminiti, McDonald, and into the back of that. Archer and Gresham, and he shrugged another tackle. Scott, little fend off. He's going the wrong way, realised it. Half volley, little too hot for Tucker. Gets it from Young. Wobbles it to the top of the square. The chaos ball again might work. Through the traffic forward. Couldn't find the handball target. Stevenson good enough to get it. Jones good enough to get him. Not holding the ball. Webster, Higgins, they're out. Butler, he's got no one to go to. He rolls it to himself. And it does work. Still he goes. Couple to beat. Goda, cut it off. Sheasel, flick wide. Paul Curtis, Sheasel. They are inspired right now, North. Back inside to Sheasel. He's a little cooked. Webster. Filippo just hot in the kitchen. Three-quarter time, can't come quickly enough. Luke Davies-Uniacke, LDU, had a handball option when Brett Ratten puts his arms to his head.
And that scrap's been going for about 40 seconds. They will be absolutely fatigued.
I was about to say, if they're not fatigued already, it will certainly take it out of you. So players are out on their feet. It's been a really chaotic quarter.
It has. St Kilda have generated enough opportunities, just haven't been able to nail it. But if they don't sort out their tackling, the Kangaroos are going to have a victory, and Brett Ratten will celebrate like it's a premiership.
Windhager back to Wanganeen-Milera. McDonald gets there, double-fisted down. Scott collects and goes. Hands it off. Stevenson. Taron Thomas in space. Has a bounce. Time to spend it wisely. And sneaks it home. Classic.
Well, it was a floater, but it's still got the 6 points. But once again, you just see, Geordie, the running power of St Kilda just isn't there when they go into defence. They cannot go with them. Here's the release handball, bang. There's another one. And those guys running in pursuit, they're just plodding. They haven't got the speed to put the pressure on, and Taron Thomas has had quite an impressive turn.
Yeah, you're right. Clark can't go with him. Taron Thomas has clearly got the speed. Wanganeen-Milera tries to catch up late. Yeah, just scraped in. Once again, probably St Kilda trying to force it. That Milera kick into the middle of the ground. You reckon Brett Ratten's not happy?
Well, the football world was in shock last October. Brett Ratten was in shock. Saints replaced him with Ross Lyon. But the Kangaroos players are going to win one for their so far winless coach. This is it. Phillips fights hard. Crouch, knock on. Crouch gets it back. Marshall, inside 50. Archer, huge knockdown. Just got a fist on it in time. Billings goes and gets. Collect was good. Butler. High bomb. Forward pocket. Mackay. Higgins. Brilliant. Yeah, short to Crouch. And no need to tell you how big this is. I kicked 4-11.
Yeah, that's what they've missed, that kick. Coming back inside. Just trying to lower their eyes. Trying to find a teammate. And Higgins was a perfect kick. Crouch had to make the position, but you're right, this kick is so important. A little bit of reward for effort.
18 possessions so far. Top 20 in the AFL for possessions per game this year, averaging 28 per game. None more important than this, and he wastes it.
Well, it's been the story of the day, unfortunately, for St Kilda. Their inaccuracy has got them in this hole they're in right now.
Inside a minute to three-quarter time. Everyone here on the edge of their seats, including the two coaches. All games are worth 4 points, but some are worth just a little bit more. And this is one of those. The final game of the round. Flung in the air. Cherry knocks it down. But Davies-Uniacke got his arms free. Cord didn't want to take it through. Phillips hunted, got it off. Tucker heads toward the wing. Webster there, nudged out. No free. Wilkie feeds the handball on. Scott turned into a jam and gone. Last roll of the dice here for the Saints.
It was a little bit stiff.
That was the footy gods, because the push in the back was clearly there, and umpire just ignored it.
Seconds keep ticking here. Hunter Clark puts it to the pocket.
Got it.
Wood! Not quite. Kept going, fights on. Ball up.
Gee, they'll get one last chance. It'll have to be catch and kick. 4 seconds on the clock.
Time enough for something crazy. The flick down. No free just yet. Crouch! It's crazy! But it's a behind. Another big moment wasted. There's been some spice in this all week. And there's some spice in it now with a quarter to play. Playing their hearts out for their coach, North Melbourne. They've lost 15 games in a row. Won their first 2 games this season. This, a chance to get their season off the canvas. And they lead by 16 points with a quarter to play. Great to have your company wherever you're watching Fox Footy. And plenty coming on Fox Footy tonight. The Chief and the full bounce circus, including Gazy and Dicko and co, which means that it'll be Hutto, Kingy and Joey having first crack on First Crack.
The stage is set for a grandstand finish here at Marvel Stadium. North Melbourne lead it by 16 points. Can the Kangaroos give that man on screen, Brett Ratten, the win up against the side that sacked him only 9 months ago? For the Saints, the ramifications are huge. If they lose this one, they finish round 19 outside the top 8. Some fresh legs coming on for the Kangas for the final term. Jack Ziebell, the previous skipper, has been injected into the game. Liam Shields is out with a sore calf. So that's 275 games experience on with 270 games experience out. So a wise head for this final term. And guys, it looks to be a belter. North Melbourne getting it done on the turnover.
Yeah, well, the interest will be to see where Ziebell plays, Shields being a midfielder. But this is what they were able to do. St Kilda really inaccurate at the other end. So trying to take some risks, trying to force it a little bit too much. And then what North Melbourne have been able to do for the majority of the day is get them on the outside, run and carry. And as soon as they get the ball into the open, St Kilda just haven't had the legs to go with them. We see Clark in the background there. And he's a happy Brett Ratten in the box. But that's their challenge, St Kilda. How can they kick a score? But also, how can they defend North Melbourne when they get on the outside and into their transition game? And that's what it means, Jared.
Indeed it does. The Saints, well, they haven't played good footy for a few months now. And they're not playing good footy tonight. But it's not about that. It's all about the result. If you're St Kilda, you've got to just somehow find a way to go forward. They're going with Mason Wood in the wing. They just look like they need another target in the forward line, and he is one who's played there a lot.
And Jack Ziebell has gone forward.
North have kicked 6 of the last 7 goals of this game. There's a quarter to play. Edge of the seat stuff. Marshall tried to rip it out of the air for the perfect start. Sinclair gets the clearance. Tucker stands under it. Wood with the fist. Luke Davies-Uniacke. A rare spill wrapped up. Early momentum's going to be massive. Steele outside of his boot accidentally. Gets it inside 50. Billings knocked down. Caminiti, hand on it. Hunter Clark turns back inside. Goal square. Marshall can't mark it. No front-on contact free. McDonald clears it wide. A 2-on-2. Forward with Windhager. Ball scoots to the back. Taron Thomas knew he had a friend. Ziebell a little rusty. First touch of the afternoon after coming on as the sub. And they've got a couple of their all-time great shin boners out there to try and get this 1-1. Jack Ziebell passes David Dench and Michael Ferrito today, now top 10 all-time for games played for North. Wood bangs it back down the line. Corp just overcooked his attempt at it. Filippo heads inside 52, short, and McDonald cuts it off.
And he's only a very young player, as we know. Marshall's the man who's gone forward, but there was no real pressure on that kick. And again, it's been their Achilles heel today. The kick's inside forward 50 for the Saints.
Core to Tucker. And every second that ticks down is to North Melbourne's favour.
It can go long to Goldstein on Wilkie. Owens will be in that marking contest as well.
Just allowing themselves to be split apart here, the Saints.
Just creeping up, aren't they?
Everybody wants to point. No one's picking up a man.
Possession 24 for Luke Davies-Uniacke. Wilkie got there from 3 deep but couldn't complete the deal. Finally tried to get out, but the umpire sorts it out. So it'll be Todd Goldstein, one of the other great shin boners of all time. Goldie, game 310. Just Glenn Archer, Drew Petrie and Brent Harvey ahead of him. Phillips loops the handball out. Lift doors closed. And going nowhere. Sheasel hands it over. It's been spectacular again today. Has the Shees.
Great tackle.
LDU dragged down from behind. Secondary ball up.
Just on the way the Saints are defending that transition from North Melbourne, it's okay to be in a zone, but you've got to be on the move. You've got to put doubt in the kicker's mind.
Owens turns out of a jam. Got under that a little. High. Archer goes up. Speaking of great shin bonus, the son of the greatest of all time.
Kick.
Spear pass is perfect for Marshall, and this is why he's been sent forward.
Well, something had to change. Marshall, he's down in the forward line in the third quarter, but this is good delivery. He can take a contested mark. They've only taken 8 marks in their forward 50 for the game, so they're valuable.
Well, he was too skinny the first year he was available to be drafted too light, and he played full forward and was a key forward for North Ballarat, Ryan Marshall. He loves playing forward and kicking big goals.
Yeah, well, that's been the change. So we spoke pre-game about the inexperience of the forward line of St Kilda. But this is who they want the ball in their hands, either Sinclair or Wood coming through the middle of the ground. And then a little bit more experience further up the ground who can either compete in the air or understands where the space is and when to lead. That is a huge goal.
So for his reward, he's being thrown back into the centre for the hit out.
So now it's up to Sharman. Caminidis forward of the ball to now fill in that role. You see Owens in the middle of the ground, Sinclair, Crouch.
So Owens is a ruck rover again. Done that a bit in recent times, sparing him the ruck duties. All knocked down. Taron Thomas turned into Marshall, going nowhere. We'll get another ball up, but there'll be more around it. And Marshall's running forward here.
Yeah, he's got a mismatch. So now he runs forward, and he's got Young. He's a direct matchup.
The North get the clearance of sorts. Scott had to go down and get it, and he's in turn got.
He looks a bit sore too, Marshall, as he goes down.
So Owens is doing the ruck work. Goldie with the reach and the experience down to Scott, who blasts it inside 50. The chaos ball beats Zeeble. Doesn't beat Windhager. To battle. Waits. Didn't have a lot of options. He's got 2-on-2 on the wing. Archer attacks it. Sterling Archer performance there. Wedden got it.
Got him high down.
And Wanganeen-Milera got him. Too high. Free kick.
Well, it's a big win. Just kept the ball in front.
Sheasel. Well, Howe was just off the bench. Wasn't on the same page. Heads long. Wood got hands on it, both palms. Couldn't clutch it.
There's a cup on there for Wood. Certainly in the last 20 minutes.
10-point margin. Huge difference for the Saints. They'll be either inside or outside the 8 at the end of this. Whether they win or lose. The scramble kick. Marshall a little slow to go and get it, but he goes and gets Young. Just shook the tackle in time. Back to Mackay. Back to Core. Still on eternity left though. Pops it. Just the required to McDonald. Back to Core. Went one-handed. Caminiti wraps him up.
Yeah, they were away there if you could have caught that.
They were.
I think the handball was good. You're right, he just reached with one hand. Maybe wasn't expecting the handball to come too soon.
Little things can become big things at this point of the game. Owens, Crouch, Sharman. And he can kick goals.
He's got to back himself now. He's taken the time. All the spares forward of the ball. The charge looking for the extra kick. And now covered.
Kicked 3 straight last week against the Suns. A 4-goal game to his name against Fremantle. As they say, it might not be your game, but you can make it your moment. From the paint. He makes it his moment.
Well, finally they're getting some return for inside 50 kicks. And it's amazing how when fatigue comes, people start making mistakes. There was really poor defence there. You could see, I think it was Aidan Cors was throwing his head back. Didn't read it at all well. And that is a magnificent kick under pressure.
Yeah, 2 big goals. I think if you're North Melbourne, so St Kilda, well done, clearance, you go inside your forward 50, kick the goal. I think if you're North Melbourne and you're Todd Goldson, you've got dominance in the ruck, I wouldn't be tapping a defensive side because St Kilda are sweating on that momentum going towards their goal. So once Marshall leaves the ruck contest and goes forward and Owens is in the ruck, I think Todd Goldstein needs to be more aggressive and use those hits to go forward, not defensive.
1 kick from the lead now. Good bounce to restart it. Marshall inserted back into the middle. Sinclair couldn't get the handball through the traffic. LDU. Heads too wide and scrapes it in for a behind. That's it.
Well, sometimes you just need to find the easy one inside forward 50. Just to calm everything down. Give yourself a set shot.
Webster to battle. They've done this a bit today, the Saints. Some precision ball use when it's called for. Marshall down the line. Big leap from Goda, but he left it behind, then didn't get a free. Scrambled away by Sharman. Archer got a couple to beat, fights and holds.
It's made a difference when it's one-on-one in the forward line for St Kilda rather than having the outnumber.
Gresham inside to Windhager inside, and this maybe beyond Steele.
It's a good point, Jared. I think all night they've been fighting one down. And North Melbourne have done really well from that spare player. It's really challenging the North Melbourne defence to defend one-on-one.
Pops it to the hot spot. Marshall's in the hole.
Oh.
Great hands.
Great kick.
The big guns have come out to play since three-quarter time for the Saints.
Yeah, so that was a slow play. Goldstein was pretty much goalkeeper guarding the goal line. You still need to reference the ruckman, whether he's ruck or forward. If you are in that defensive 50, he is your man.
For the lead. For the first time since the opening half. Wow.
Well, out of jail, I reckon the boys on first crack will have the behind the goals vision of that one. It's just inexcusable, but they got out of jail there, the Kangaroos, and they breathe again.
What pressure does. Goda. Toward the wing. Webster got there, scooted to the back. Windhager had some big possessions. Billings, the sub, who was on early. Back to Webster. Blasts it long. Sharman from 4 deep. Archer. Mackay. Goda. Hemmed in. The smother. And Sinclair, like how content to have a ball in.
Got to get their hands on the footy now, St Kilda. They're getting flogged on the ground. Ground ball gets a double. Contested ball well behind. Territory well behind. It's now or never for the big win.
North trying to break a 15-game losing streak. Won their first 2 games this season.
Well
Luke
played.
Davies-Uniacke with a sidestep that was delightful. Heads long. Larkey, a one-on-one. Ball scoots to the back. Larkey, little paddle. Secondary paddle. The cavalry arrives to the Saints. Wood against the grain. Gave it up. Windhager, who hasn't stopped running. To Howard, to Wilkie, to Wanganeen-Milera. If it pops, it can go. It pops, and he goes. And he has a bounce. He's in a panic. He's hunted down by Taylor. He shook him off. He fishtailed him, got rid of him. Gave it to Sharman. Sends it inside 50. Archer!
Great chase by Taylor. Unbelievable chase. Just to put that perceived pressure on. And then fantastic win, one-on-one forward of the ball by Archer.
Paul Curtis turns it over. Captain's moment now. Straight into the steel trap. He went down the corridor instead of going wide with the outlet kick.
Yep. Game sense, Dwayne. Game sense, young team, inexperienced player. Just try and take the ball as wide as you possibly can. You're more than happy to turn it over there because you can hem them in.
He knows how big this is for his club, for his new coach, Rossline. He's heard the build-up all week. Heads toward goal and gets it home. The captain gives them the lead back.
Well, this is what you'd expect from a side that's got finals ambitions. It's taken a long time to get there, but it's been really impressive the way they've turned it around. Here's a chase that was one of the finer acts, and they're going to need a bit more of this if they're to reverse this and get the 4 points for the Kangaroos. Great chase. But unfortunately for the Kangaroos, it didn't allow them to get back the other end of the ground. That's a great intercept from Steele and a brilliant goal under the pump.
Yeah, it's what we've been talking about, Jared. Get numbers equal forward of the ball, even to the point where North Melbourne dropped the number behind the ball and St Kilda equalised. So they have 7 inside their own forward 50, just to allow them to compete.
Still an eternity left. Luke Davies-Uniacke is going the wrong way. Goda. Wide ball. Harvey. Windhager. Couldn't shake him, Harvey. Windhager knew exactly what he was up to.
Might be sitting someone on LDU if you're St Kilda. He's probably the only one that looks threatening in and around the contest.
That's what it means for the Saints. They began the round inside the 8. They just spent the last hour outside it. On the live ladder, they're back in now. Free kick in the back. Steele's lifted.
I had Bytel on him for a fair bit of that third quarter, but it's a soft tag rather than being a hard one.
Marshall posted forward, he didn't carry, and it carried all the way to Caminiti. Has he got this kick in him? Caminiti blasts it. Caminiti got every syllable behind that. Unbelievable.
Great call, Dwayne. It was a great kick. What an exciting unit this young bloke is. Out of the side earlier in the week. He gets back in. Brett Ratten has seen this movie before. That's a terrific mark. Bit of hands on both of them, really, but...
Yeah, they've managed forward half turnovers, haven't they?
Yep.
Even the Jack Steele goal, forward half turnover. So it's the forward pressure creating those contests, and just had the ability to finish. 4 goals won for the quarter compared to 1 goal 5 in the third. Makes a big difference.
And that tells the tale. But again, there's still an eternity left. Taron Thomas shrugged one. Couldn't shrug the second. Got the handball off. Phillips down the spine. They need to hear on a hurry now. It's able to be a good one. He couldn't quite get away.
Geez, it was a magnificent passage of play by Taron Thomas to work his way through that congestion and just release the handball.
Good spot for a ball up here, though, for North. Sherry, Owens, Siebel. Behind. And that plays into the hands perfectly for St Kilda. It's essentially a turnover. Gives the ball back to Wanganeen-Milera. Windhager, as they tightrope the boundary to battle. Time on their side now. Still a lot of time left. Mackay with the fist. Scott. Goda. Tried to drill it. Little fumble from Gresham. Bytel. Windhager, couple of dance steps. Taron Thomas. Had some big moments of his own.
You still don't need to panic, North Melbourne. Plenty of time on the clock.
Down the line towards Larkey. Howard had both palms on it.
I do like that matchup better, though. The Wilkie on Larkey allow Howard to come over and impact, or even vice versa.
And what you're saying, Geordie, you don't need to go on now. You just need to go on next.
Yep, absolutely. Still 8.5 minutes on the clock. That's why you think guys like Jack Siebel just trying to settle his side down.
Sherry had the reach. Couldn't find a target. Wood shut down on the full.
Taron Thomas is really having an impact just in his last few minutes, and he does look the bloke most likely if they're going to resurrect this game and get back in front. Him and LDU got to be really conscious of them.
Sherry sits it up. Big pack around it. Huge crumb to win. Out the back to Wilkie. It's coming back. Sherry stands under it. No front on. Yes, front on contact against Wood. He got a lot of sharing.
Yeah, I thought
he got a lot of sharing.
I thought he looked at the ball late, but maybe he didn't. The umpire was in a really good position.
And is he within range?
We'll probably get an indication of the North Melbourne players either maybe telling him to have a shot, but I thought they were lining up for the handball.
His eyes tell the story. He doesn't look that confident. Top of the square. Larky comes hard. Marshall killed it with a fist. Caminiti caught. Couldn't get it out. Forward. What was it? Forward. Zeeble! Sub on. One of their all-time greats. A chance to cut the margin to a point.
Well, it's a really good contest on the boundary line, won by the Kangaroos, a centering kick. Here it is here, under the pump. And a nice kick inside.
Now top 10 all-time North Melbourne games played. Takes a deep breath. Sub the last few weeks. Heads toward goal. He needs it to come back. And he sneaks it home by a coat of paint. And there's a point in it.
Well, that's called a good coaching move. Needed something up forward just to give them a little bit of extra spice. He's been there before many times. He's come on as a fresh player and he's had an impact, and that's all you can ask. That's the kick. And he read it best, Zeeble.
It seems like it's a more dangerous kick, doesn't it? That sort of messy one that isn't as predictable. The St Kilda defence are doing really well. Wilkie to zone off and defend. But that one that comes in a little bit more unpredictable, really hard to defend. Zeeble just playing in front.
So it's been playing on his mind all month. The centre bounce clearances, Brett Ratten. They put a lot of work into it. They've been much better today, but this is when it counts most.
And I brought Todd Goldstein back into the lineup for that reason. Goldstein, Marshall, size each other up. Good bounce to restart it. Goldie with the palm, and here is LDU. Gets under that kick a little. Taron Thomas can't mark it. Lays a splendid tackle. Wanganeen-Milera given a long time, but he had no prior.
The players have adjusted well, haven't they? Just to hold the player up being tackled, not sling them to ground.
Goldie reaches around. Crouch. Sinclair floats it towards the wing. Owen's got there late.
Dropped it.
Gone. That's a huge moment there. Mackay had it, looked around, took that split second too long. Fuller pass to Wood.
Yeah, he did well to get it in the hands of the good kickers.
Again, wants to...
He'd be looking for battle here.
Have a win against the team that didn't want him. Delisted him a few years ago. Wood pokes it. Dangerous, but Windhager equal to it.
He's got another good kicker.
Wanganeen-Milera. Almost every North player back in front of him. He spears it to Wood on the second grab, and he's within range.
They've done well. They've just given it to their best distributors. And here's his opportunity. He's threatened about 4 times going forward. They've used him as a sort of an outlet target. And now he's got to deliver with a kick.
Game 111. 65 of them for North. It'll take his best. He pulls the kick late, goes for the pass. The chaos ball. Higgins about to pounce. He bends it, goal square. Big fist. McDonald gets it through. We're down to 5 minutes and 2 points.
I'd like to have seen him have a shot at goal there, but doing the unselfish thing. 2 points up.
Sheasel blasts it out of there. Zeeble comes down, couldn't get the run at it. Tucker had a moment. Still in there. Zeeble tried to scoot it up. Wood lays the tackles. Crouch, screen ball. Crouch gets ball to Windhager. It's a great afternoon. Heads to attacking 50. Knocked down by Gresham. Lays a superb tackle on Core.
And that's all you need to do. Take the ball forward. Understand that you've got equal numbers forward of the ball. So if under pressure, don't try and create a handball or a kick back inside the corridor. Just take the ball forward and rely on your forwards to get a contest.
Marshall pumps it down. Filippo scrambles it away. Little flick pass to Gresham, but he was wrapped up as soon as he got it.
They've got to get back to work here. There's only 5 minutes or so remaining, but they're being absolutely killed on the deck right now, the Saints. Sorry, North Melbourne.
Goldstein tries to hunt it down. Sinclair caught. Didn't get a kick away. No prior opportunity. And Luke Davies-Uniacke is away out the front. Needs to hit a target. Bounces it. Wilkie wrapped up by Ford. Dispossessed. Windhager. LDU is doing it on his own. LDU! Oh. No! Brett Ratten can't believe it.
I think it must have been Ford that just held on too long.
Windhager back to Wilkie, and we're inside 4 minutes.
Oh, geez, the free kick wasn't there either.
Uses the width. Ball in. 18th game back as Saints coach for Ross Lyon. How big is this going to be, this 4 points for the Saints season? They lose it, they're out of the 8. They win it, they're in the 8. First of 5 games in a row here at Marvel. Can change their whole year. Will they be a finalist contender or not? Might come down to this last 3 minutes and 34.
Hard tag on LDU, surely.
And for North, 15 losses in a row. They can break the run here and now. They need to steal one from the fire. Crouch. Steele. To the pocket. Big fist come. Gresham. He stole that. He gave it up. Phillippo. Caught. Wrap around octopus tackle by McDonald. Big pack around it. More seconds tick down. Goldstein, Caminiti, stolen. Sinclair got it up the Crouch. Manhandled, dropped it. Ball surely. Play on advantage. Stevenson, Scott. Inside 3 minutes. The floater. Huge mark by Wilkie, but it shouldn't be a surprise. He's done it his entire Saints career, and he finds Wood. He got told to go. Higgins wheels around. Can they get the goal to seal it? Big crumb to win. Goda ran into a brick wall. Ball up. Umpire deemed he didn't have prior. Goldstein, Caminiti, Goldie rips it out of the air. David Decor, fantastic smother. Kept in the area. And we're down to 2:22. You feel the season hinges on it for the Saints. Goldstein got a palm on it. Back into the congestion. Crouch. Was that a handball? Umpire said yes. Higgins! But it hands it back to North now. It gives them the ball. 2 minutes left. Can they go coast to coast? Out wide, big fist. Puts the garbage out to row 3. And they can reset with 2 minutes left.
Yeah, both teams, well, North Melbourne would be in a win-the-game play. So everything just forward. This Goldstein tap, try and get it forward. St.Kilda would just want to lock it in. Stoppage after stoppage.
Marshall down to Jones. Shook the tackle attempt, rolls it inside 50. Seconds keep ticking. Mitch Owens feeds it on. Higgins off the deck. It gets a roll. The Hurricane Higgins. He's done it again.
I believe it's a goal. Can we just check it was touched off the boot?
He swooped on that. It's a Higgins kind of goal, and he got it there.
Underway.
They change. Just come down the middle, mate. So just keep your distance wide, yeah.
You'd have to stay with a soft call.
Yep.
Jared.
Yep.
He's just an opportunist, isn't he?
He is. It was a great clearance, though. They had to win the clearance to set up this shot, and then a little bit of magic.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, we can see the ball connects with the St Kilda attacker's boot last, prior to crossing the back of the goal line. Decision on scoreboard.
And the crowd about to go crazy here at Marvel. Confirmation. 9-point margin.
Still a lot of time on the clock. St Kilda have done an unbelievable job to kick a score and be really accurate. 5 goals, 3 for the quarter. You're right, it's all done in the clearance. Jones just free there at the back of the stoppage. Then you see Higgins just loses McDonald in that, keeps his feet, puts himself in a position to be near goals and then just shins it through. They've been desperate this last quarter, St Kilda.
It's been a different side, hasn't it? They've had targets inside forward 50 that have taken marks. They've got the ball in quicker, and they've beaten them up at the contest at a level they haven't been able to do most of the game.
Nothing he does is conventional, Jack Higgins. 9 points, 1:43 left. Goldstein trying to flick down, and Marshall, clever. More seconds tick down.
You see all the St Kilda players rolling back. Owens being that sparing defence. North Melbourne trying to equalise.
LDU out the front again. Put the handball on. Steele forced it back. Might get it back here. Just working his heart out to hold it in there, and he wins himself a free.
Just need to possess the ball here, Saints. Clearly don't need to score. Try and not go long down the line.
Heads out wide. Boundary line's almost a win as Goldstein dumps it there. They need 2 goals in 64 seconds, North.
He's had a great last 30 minutes, Jack Steele. $11 possessions, 7 contested. He's kicked the big goal. It's put him in front.
Marshall, Goldie sweeps it. Sheasel in the corridor. They need a mark. Back with the flight. No mark. Owens, who's been epic again, floats it wide. 50 seconds and counting. Core cuts it off. Feeds it long. Taylor back to Core. Little fumble. They need a mark inside 50 or a spill goal. Up they fly, off hands. Huge ball. Howard against the grain holds it in. 34 seconds left. 34 seconds from finishing the round inside the 8, the Saints. An epic to finish the round. Flying in the air. Goldie knocks it out into space. Paul Curtis was there. Couldn't trap it and go, and no holding the ball free. More seconds tick. We're down to 25.
This is where Goldie's getting a little bit adventurous, trying to tap it outside the congestion.
Quick goal now, and they might have a few seconds to get a clearance out of the middle. McDonald outside of the boot. Zeeble, Larkey, crash. Big pack around it. Saints home game. Fans got to go crazy when they get this done. Little flick back. Jones, Crouch, they don't really want to get it out. Webster caught. And they've stolen this from the fire, the Saints. North had them on the canvas. Quick fire handball. Siren about to sound. Free kick's been paid. But a goal would only make it a 3-point loss. Been spice in this all week. Brett Ratten coaching against the team that sacked him. 9th game as caretaker coach. Yet to coach a North win. And they had him at 3/4 time. But the Saints played their heart out in the last quarter to get this 1-1. All games are worth 4 points, but some are worth a whole lot more than that. And this was one of those. Saints by 8 points, and they're back in the 8.
They got out of jail, didn't they, Jared?
Yeah, they had to work really hard. I mean, North Melbourne now know the level at which they have to work to get the job done. So there's plenty to take out of this game for the Kangaroos, but the 4 points, the win was what they were here to get for Brett Ratten and for them. And St Kilda just tweaked a couple of things and then they got to work. I mean, they really did win the contested ball, the ground ball, and they finally worked through their setup in the front half and it got them home.
Down to Sarah Jones.
I've got the skipper with me, the man of steel. Jack, you get the 4 points, you're back in the 8, but does that feel like the great escape?
Absolutely. Once again, obviously, I had a scare a couple of weeks ago against West Coast. We're not playing the footy we really want to be playing at the moment. We're not moving the ball how we want, but yeah, lucky to walk away with the 4 points. I thought we still fought. It wasn't pretty, but we put in a pretty good effort.
How did you turn it around?
Just going back to the work we've done leading up to this. Sorry, Sarah, I just need to get my breath. But yeah, I thought we knew we're a great running side, so we just sort of had to take him to the end and try and beat him in the contest as best we could. They're a great midfield with Goldie and blokes like LDU in there running through, so they probably had first access, but yeah, we just knew it was going to be a contest right to the final siren.
You trying to catch your breath, it's probably testament to how hard you had to work at the end there. When you're the skipper, when the game's on the line, do you really feel it and take ownership of it? Because that's what it looked like. Yeah,
absolutely. And I feel like a large part of the group really, you know, wear the pride of St Kilda Footy Club on their sleeve too, so yeah, first 3 quarters probably wasn't the brand of footy we have been trying to play and that we played at the start of the year, but yeah, like I said before, it's a testament to the effort we put in the last quarter.
Talk to us about the move of the ruckman to the forward line, Rowan Marshall. That really seemed to swing things.
Yeah, obviously Ro's a pretty handy player when he can play so well in the ruck, and then you can push him forward and he can be a pretty dominant target up there for us as well, something we're probably lacking with Maxi going down and a few others up there too. So yeah, to put him forward and get Mitchie around the ball in the contest was a stroke of genius in my opinion. So yeah, it was good.
You said that you're not playing your best football at the moment and that you need to get back there. But in the meantime, chalking up these wins, how do you rediscover that best form?
Just keep working hard. Obviously, yeah, haven't been playing my best footy this year, but just getting to work really during the week and getting my body right and to prepare myself for, you know, the weekend. And yeah, I suppose contest is my main sort of my attribute, my one wood, I suppose. So just getting that going again is something that's key to my form coming back.
A brilliant game from you today. 32 disposals and a key goal. Well done. Go and enjoy it and get that breath back.
Thanks, Sarah. Appreciate it.